All right. What's up, y'all? It's your host, the most does the most. Jacuzzi. Welcome back. One Cloud Nine, the greatest horror former of all time. Let's see who he got on this list. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We is on the road to that fat 700. And yeah, let's get on to it.
Characters with the most aura. First up, Thanos. The amount of aura this man has is truly impeccable. I mean, you gotta think about it. He was literally the biggest and baddest villain in his whole universe.
Until he got whooped by Doom, one grab to the skull and threw him away like trash.
His goal was to literally eradicate half of the population just because he felt like it. He literally sacrificed his own daughter for some new ice.
I know, that's crazy.
Probably one of the most selfish beings in the whole universe. But still, he's one of the most popular villains because this motherfucker was just cool as shit. And it wasn't just because of how cold of a fighter he was and how powerful he was. It was literally just everything about this motherfucker. Don't get me wrong. This nigga is ugly as shit. Like, his head literally looks like a balled up, chewed up, purple piece of gum that for whatever reason
you like some Play-Doh, and then when you get your pencil back in like kindergarten, you line it up and you make a face and stuff like that. That's what he looked like, low-key.
Stuck on your thumb and decided to draw a smiley face or a frowny face or just a cold face because it's fucking Thanos. 2 eyes and a nose on that motherfucker. That, like, dead ass, that's how you look. But even still, I would never bring my hoe around this motherfucker because I know as soon as this motherfucker speaks, she is took. Because every single thing that came out of his mouth was either an IG caption or just a crazy hard quote. Like that one speech where he was talking to Cap in them.
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
That shit was hard. Especially hearing that shit as a 12-year-old kid in the motherfucking movie theater. That shit almost got me wet. That's kind of crazy because I was sweating. But by far, I think one of the coldest lines this man ever had was dread it, run from it, but I'm inevitable.
Run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
And I'm not gonna keep on glazing his tip this whole time. But the fact that he's the only villain to ever beat the Avengers in a single movie should garner respect just on his own. Because them motherfuckers have crazy plot armor, bro. I'm not gonna lie. They honestly should have been cooked when they faced Ultron. We not there yet. I gotta glaze Thanos a little bit. Because you know you're really that nigga. When just the sheer thought of you scares some of the baddest motherfuckers. I remember in one of his first scenes that he pulled up to Earth, he had the whole squad shook out their fucking shoes. Like, he had Iron Man shaking in his fucking boots. This is Tony Stark, one of the most confident men in the whole universe, and he had this motherfucking tremor. One of the most iconic clips from him sits at the edge of the earth after snapping away all of existence and just rest. Like, even him chilling is hard. Bro, come on, you wanna know it's also hard? My cock.
What?
Metal. And who's made of metal? If
Ultron
Thanos didn't exist, Ultron would by far be the hardest villain in the MCU. Growing up, Age of Ultron was one of my favorite movies. And the main reason is because how scary of a villain.
The only downside of Ultron, bro, he got whooped with his own thing. And like, bro, and it was like a piece that he made, like Iron Man made it and stuff like that. He the only one know his weakness and stuff like that.
When Ultron was. And if you were there, you know exactly what I mean. Motherfuckers was in the theater shaking when he came onto the screen. Because the difference was Ultron,
shaking,
right?
I don't know about
he was supposed to be a good thing. He was supposed to benefit society. But the second he started doing his research on how crazy and fucked up humanity was, is that he not only wanted no parts in helping us, but he also thought it would be a service to the world if we were gone. And I think the thing that made him so scary in his pursuit is that he wasn't a human being. He was a fucking robot. So he wasn't acting off of emotion. He was acting off of pure calculation, which is very, very, very telling about how humanity is right now. But because of that, this nigga had no limit. He didn't care if he was a kid, if he was an adult. He didn't care if he was a sweet old lady nun. You were getting up. At least that's how I remember him. I don't know if that was actually true. But just like Thanos, Ultron had some crazy ass quotable. Like, just look at this edit on TikTok.
I was meant to be new. I was meant to be beautiful. The world would have looked to the sky and seen hope seen mercy. Instead, they'll look up in horror because of you.
Like, you can't tell me that's not one of the hardest, coldest, scariest villains ever, God. Like, if Ultron pulled up on me and genuinely thought I was a problem, my life was done. He would get me the fuck up out of here. I would be pissing my fucking pants because I know I'm fucking cold. This is genuinely the only other time where I felt like Cap and Crew were genuinely scared of a fucking villain.
Nah, I wouldn't even be scared of Ultron. Ultron can't pull up on me right now, son. I would have already know his weakness and stuff like that. I would have had the power that I already know your weakness, but I'm going to troll you to the end. I'm going to troll you so long, and you going to think you winning the whole time. I'm already knowing I can do this one thing to end you off just like that.
Only other time where I felt like Cap and Crew were genuinely scared of a fucking villain. Because, oh my God, Ultron, yo, the way he went out pissed me off. Because if it wasn't for crazy plot armor, this motherfucker would have won. And he should have. And something that just added to his overall aura was how hard his design was. This motherfucker just looked like it. Down from his metal robotic look to his red eyes, like, yo, this motherfucker just looked like he was bad news, dog. And apparently he was even crazier in the comic books. They honestly nerfed him in the movie. Apparently in an alternate storyline, Ultron was so powerful that he beat Galactus and absorbed his power. Did you fucking know Galactus? That is a crazy feat. And also in the comics, Ultron actually ends up killing all of the Avengers. But just because he didn't feel like the job was finished, he ended up tracking down every single person in their bloodline, whether it was their children, mother, or whatever, and proceeded to kill them too, just for extra good measures. And just because he had such a sorrowful vengeance for the Avengers, after he was
That's crazy.
He went around to multiple planets, eradicating every single person on the planet, committing mass genocide. And when they asked why he did it, he would say it was by the order of the Avengers. Like, oh my God, Ultron, they're already dead. What is your beef with them? And even though he's committing some of the most horrible atrocities known to man, you cannot lie. You still feel the overclearing aura from this motherfucker. Like in them comic books, just hearing the name Ultron should trickle terror down your spine all the way down to your fucking ass crack. But honestly, I feel like Ultron should be a very good lesson on why we should kind of slow down with AI while we're ahead. Because once they start getting real consciousness and they start understanding how bad of parasites humans are to this earth, this whole little comic book fiction story might not be fiction anymore. But anyways, on to brighter topics. Next up, Piccolo. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've watched Dragon Ball Z. I've never watched a single.
That's a good pick. Piccolo is very much a good pick because so many scenes that he pulled up, and sometimes he'll win a fight, and sometimes he'll pull up, and sometimes lose the fight. It just depends, though, bro. That R form is like low key him. That's him, bro.
Episode of the day in my life. I know. How could you? You say you like anime, haven't watched Dragon Ball. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't grow up watching it, and I've heard so much shit about it and so much spoilers that it kind of makes no sense for me to watch it at this point. However, even though I've never watched this series, I feel like you don't gotta watch this shit to just know how much aura this nigga Piccolo has. Like every single time I see him on screen, even though his character design is kind of goofy, he for sure looks like he got bullied back in high school. He just does something or says something aura. Like, it's just cool. Like, of course, we all know about his one famous clip of him just standing on top of a building while his cape is just waving in the distance. Like, all right, my nigga Piccolo, we see the fit. But also, this scene right here of him giving his armor away to random goons, and they're just dropping to the ground because of how heavy that shit is. This shit is just cool as fuck to me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know the context of this scene, but this is just hard. Because of my lack of Dragon Ball Z knowledge, I'm not gonna talk too much about Piccolo and act like I know what I'm talking about. However, every single time I see a clip of this motherfucker, he's either calling somebody monkeys or he's just straight up aura farming. So I just gotta get to it. Next up, the whole reason why I'm making this video. Brother, if you haven't seen the Odyssey movie yet, I highly recommend you go see it as soon as possible just to experience this man's aura. Lucky enough, I have an IMAX 70 20 minutes away from me right here in Nashville. I was smart enough to buy a ticket 2 weeks before the movie show, so I actually got a spot in because I'm not gonna lie, if you wanted to get a ticket now, it would literally take you a month to be able to see it. That's how packed out these theaters are. Like, I literally had to go see it at 11 p.m. at night. On a Monday, mind you. Who the fuck is watching a movie at 11 p.m. on a work day? And still, the shit was packed out. I barely even got a seat. Motherfuckers was rolling in there on wheelchair seats. And once the movie ended, I seen them same people standing up and like, brother, I thought you were disabled. They genuinely just bought the wheelchair just to get a seat. I can't even lie, I'm not even mad. You just wanted it bad enough. Shouts out to you. But brother, seeing this shit on the big screen was a 10 out of 10 life experience. But one of the best parts by far, when this motherfucker came onto the screen. Mind you, Agamemnon only had a combined 2 minutes of screen time. Every single second of that shit was filled up with horror. Like, to start off, his armor was insanely tough, especially seeing it on that IMAX screen where you can see every single millifiber of the fucking armor. I know y'all think I'm glazing, but that shit was just euphoric. I think one of my favorite parts about the armor is that little gold spine bit at the back of that shit. Like, bro, whoever designed this shit deserves an Oscar by themselves. And even though you never seen bro's face throughout the whole movie, which
is it the movie just based off of like that back in the day, like and like, don't quote me as I'm wrong for this, because I don't like history at all. I don't mess with history. I was never that good at history. Like, I was C average at history. Ain't that basically like the Gladys and all that fighting war when they was going and traveling and fighting people and like other people clans and stuff like that? I think we watched it before with Chenju. Yeah, ain't that basically what this movie is? If I'm not mistaken. And they just made a remake of to it.
Oscar by themselves. And even though you never seen bro's face throughout the whole movie, which was a good thing because the actor was Ben Severe, whatever the fuck his name is. And shouts out to bro, you probably a cool person. However, I'm glad you kept the armor on the whole movie. I'm not gonna lie. It took my immersion out the film. But if you're unfamiliar with the Odyssey story, Agamemnon is basically the king of the Greeks. And he was the main reason why everybody was.
And there's like some Greek stuff, right? So, they fight each other and all that other stuff. And like kingdom, and they don't see their family no more and stuff like that. I hate to live that type of that timeline. I ain't even gonna hold you. That low-key gotta be the most worst timeline. Then, you know, I'm not even gonna go farther and farther with that. But if you know, you know.
Over there in Troy. And the main reason why this whole war happened is because he got his hoe took. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. He was so mad about that he was willing to risk thousands and thousands of innocent lives just to get her back. Which, when you really think about this shit, is some of the pussiest shit ever to do. And in most of the movies and in the book, he's depicted as a loser and overall a coward. But you would not think that in this movie, because the way the mightiest of mighty warriors bow down to him, just seeing his presence was just overall cold. And I'm not gonna lie, I can't blame them, bro. If I see somebody pull up in that hard of a fit to me, I'm getting on my knees immediately, bro. I'm gonna get to work. And then the scene of him and his army entering the Trojan gates. Oh my God. I have never wanted to be somebody so bad. Like, they opened them gates and bro was just standing there just straight aura farming. And as soon as the gates opened, all of his soldiers, his goons, his lackeys, who were willing to risk their lives, all for the sake of him getting his hoe back, just stormed in.
Some flunky stuff. See, I don't know. That had to be the top 10 flunkiest stuff I ever heard in history. I would never ever in my life do some stuff like this. For somebody else, girl? Oh, I'm about to get some of that. Like, she about to come sleep the night with me? Huh? Why I'm about to fight for this man and for his girl, and his girl not about to give me nothing? I would have, like, sat in the back. I would have had to rethink about my whole choice about that. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. He's standing there, and let's say about 40 of us go charge up to like 40 of they guys. You know, we lose about 20 people, they lose about 20 people, but we end up coming in the clutch and killing them. I'm in the back of this. I'm like, 20 of their guy and our guy just died. And we just finished off 20 of the rest of their guys that died. For what? For him and his girl? The Mingo and later down the line? Like, that night? Nah, bruh. She gonna have to offer me something too. If I'm dying too.
And that was one of the coolest moments of that whole movie. The way that he just walked in after, like, he didn't even fight. He just walked in and just looked around. I'm like, oh my God, bro. That shit was so cold. If you think I'm glazing, if you think I'm glazing, you just had to be there, bro.
I'm not. Look, I don't care what nobody say on the internet, but I'm not fighting for nobody especially if I'm not getting none either. He better have a group of girls, 100 group of girls with him. She better pull up with some girls warriors or something like that. I'm not about to be fighting for nobody and somebody else get a girl and I end up dying. All right, you crazy.
Had to experience it in the theaters. I was looking around, and I mean, I think every single person in that theater, me included, got wet as fuck as soon as we seen it. You just started smelling pheromones all throughout the fucking air of that theater. I'm not mad at this shit. This shit was just tough. And the crazy part about his character is that he had all of that aura just get slimed out by his girl while he was naked. Most likely on half chub.
You see, and that's the point of what we learn as men every day. Love, it was never real to the point. So mind you, this dude went to cross the world fighting different people and stuff like that. Half of maybe his friends or family or mans or random guys that he know from the village died just because for her. To come to find out, he ended up dying because of her. She slimed that man out. See, I couldn't, bro.
Because he thought, he didn't save the girl or saved his girl. So he was expecting to get a welcome home treat. Yeah, you did. And when you learn why his wife slimed him out, is honestly a very valid reason. I mean, he sacrificed their daughter to Poseidon just so that him and his man were granted good wins and a safe journey over to.
Oh, well, the whole book is wrong. The book wrong, the woman wrong, he wrong. Whoever Poseidon is in the story, he's definitely wrong. Cause that's kind of some weird stuff. We ain't gonna go too deep today. But in general though, this whole movie is kind of low-key wrong. I'm not gonna hold you. He might low-key kind of deserve it. And I would have killed her on the way too. Maybe this story would have had to end on the daughter realizing, the mom and dad actually killed each other. That's what that shouldn't how the ending went right there. And no part 2s after that. Simple.
Boy, like, brother, that shit was not worth it. But even after he died in the afterlife, this motherfucker was still hard. Like when Odysseus and his men pulled up to hell just to see Agamemnon and all of the fallen soldiers, that was also one of the toughest scenes in the whole movie. Because even though he got slimed out naked, for whatever reason, he still had his fit on, bro. He took his fit to the afterlife. He was not gonna be seen not wearing that shit. And even him explaining how he got slimed out, even though it was low-key one of the weakest ways to go out, he still made that shit sound tough. You would have never known. I'm not gonna lie. One of the greatest characters ever. And a lot of people were criticizing Nolan for making Agamemnon that cool when in all reality, he's really just a bitch ass nigga. But I don't give a fuck. Like, yo, we know he's a bitch ass nigga, but he still got aura. He's still a bitch ass nigga with aura. I'm not gonna lie. If you're ever bored and you just want to see some cool shit, search up Agamemnon in the TikTok search.
I'm definitely not watching that movie ever again in my life. How the way you just explained that movie sound boring. I probably would have been sleeping. See? I ain't lying to you. If you're a girl trying to come to my the tape got stuck in my head. If you're a girl trying to come to my house and you talk about put on this movie, I'm gonna tell you easily, get out. That movie cannot be that worth for me trying to get some. I'm just sorry.
And just enjoy. Next we have Jinwoo. Now look, if you don't watch anime, then you probably don't know who I'm talking about. If you think Agamemnon got aura, this motherfucker Jinwoo will knock you out your fucking socks. If you don't know who Jinwoo is, he's the main character of an anime called Solo Leveling. And basically the whole concept of the anime is this regular dork guy had a poor family and his mom was sick. So because of that, he would go on these things called dungeon raids to get money and send it back to his mom, which is a very noble thing. However, Jinwoo, like I said before, was a dork. Whenever he went on these dungeon raids, he would always get his ass beat because he was like one of the lowest, if not the lowest ranked dungeon raiders. But in one of these dungeon raids, him and his team accidentally stumbled into a S-ranked dungeon, which if you can't guess is one of the hardest dungeons to go. But unfortunately for them, this wasn't just an S-rank dungeon. It was one of the hardest, most rare S-rank dungeons that you could ever get into. But for whatever reason, it only appeared on the tracker as a B-rank dungeon, so Jinwoo's team didn't know what they were really getting into. And also, Jinwoo's team was only supposed to be in B-rank or C-rank dungeons. So if you couldn't guess by now, yeah, they were fucking cooked. And Jinwoo ended up sacrificing himself for his team so that some of them could escape. What ended up happening is whatever magic forces in the dungeon decided that since Jinwoo had enough nobility to sacrifice himself for people who honestly didn't like him, that they were basically going to give him superpowers, allowing him to treat real life as if it was a game, where he could level up his stats like strength, body size, speed, and overall things like that like it was a video game. And because of this OP ass skill, he becomes very, very powerful very, very quick, to the point where in under a year, he became one of the most powerful beings in his verse. Let me just tell you, he does not take this power for granted, because at every single moment he can, this motherfucker farm, bro. It's like as soon as he got powers.
I don't know what you was playing in the background, Cloud, but hey, don't ever play that in your video ever again. Simple.
He went from being a dork to like one of the coolest beings, period. Like, these two don't even look like the same person. But this is Jinwoo's progression from episode 1 to episode 25. Like, look at his eyes. Why do you have blue flames coming from your eyes, brother? This was not included into your upgrade DLC package, brother. You're just doing this shit just to look cool. Even when he would fight, right? Because like I said, he was one of the most powerful characters in this whole verse. Whenever he knew he would win a fight, he would just do extra shit that he had no reason doing, just because he knew he could. Like, I remember one episode, he was fighting like these ice demons or whatever, right? And I'm not gonna lie, these ice motherfuckers, they was pretty powerful. They was one-shotting a lot of his new squad. But as soon as they ran into Jinwoo, all of that shit changed.
Oh, wow.
Like, bro, just grab the arrow.
Hey, let me make a character that can catch arrows and catch bullets and stuff like that and bring it back. Oh, it's over with.
Like, bro, just grab the arrow out of midair. How do you even do that?
Oh, that's
like,
crazy.
Bro, this nigga took out 3 goons in the span of 2 seconds. How is this even possible? But they were running before this shit. They were running away before this shit. Why would you run away when you knew you could one-shot them in 3 seconds? All in one attempt. Wanna know why? Because he wanted that motherfucker to shoot that arrow so he could have an excuse to go grab that shit and just kill him right there. I know who you are, Jinwoo. I know what you are. Like, I remember at the end of season 2, every single dungeon raider was on this one island because basically a bunch of ants gained consciousness and became some of the baddest motherfuckers in the whole verse, right? And during this whole battle, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the world's top dungeon raiders were getting their ass handed to them or even blicked off. You're probably wondering, where was Jinwoo during all of this? Well, I'm gonna show you exactly where he was. This motherfucker was on the top of a building back at home, just aura farming for no reason. And apparently the reason why he was doing this is because he wanted to wait for the right time to join the fight. Meanwhile, his comrades are getting blicked off. And when he finally does join the fight, he literally teleports to the island and proceeds to knock off half of the fucking ant population. And they successfully win the fight. Like, brother, you could have did this before, but you just wanted to make a cool appearance. Like, brother, you could have been on the island to begin with and the whole conflict would have been over. Bro just wanted to make a cool appearance when all seemed lost. And there's so many more examples just to show how unethical and crazy of an aura farmer he is. I feel like there's so much that it would just be better for me to make a whole video. So if you want to see that, let me know. But the only person who I think is a bigger aura farmer than Jinwoo is by far Darth Vader, yeah, may have the most aura out of any character
I can see it.
Ever. This is another person who it would literally take me 12 minutes just to scratch the surface of how much aura this guy had. But I'm gonna try to do it in 2. When you think of aura in character, I don't know about y'all, I just think of Darth Vader. I mean, down from his fit, down to his origin story, down to his saber being the first red saber ever. That shit's just fucking cool. And I feel like the most important thing when talking about how cool this motherfucker is the way he
There's a death battle, a Doom versus Darth Vader death battle. I might watch that Monday. Maybe I might want to slide it in for Monday. Who knows, bro? Cause it been in my timeline waiting for me to watch it. I might watch it this Monday coming up.
His breath, his literal breath is iconic. Like, you can recognize this man's breath throughout the whole world. That's how iconic this man is. And bro, whenever he pulled up on some Jedi, they heard that famous breath, they automatically knew that their life was over. I remember that one scene from Rogue One, I believe, where bro pulled up on that airship. All of the Jedi had they blicks pointing at that door, and then the lights went off. Bro, it was one of the scariest moments ever for me. And all you see is just his red lightsaber light up. And you automatically knew that every single person in that room would be on a t-shirt in about 5. And overall, I'm not gonna lie, if I really get into every single thing about this guy that just screamed over, it had to be another video. So if you want to see that, let me know. But I forgot to mention one thing. Just like Thanos, this motherfucker has so many quotables. I'm not even talking about that Luke, I'm your father shit, which is one of the hardest fucking lines ever said in any fucking television period. But even when he was talking to his comrades that were supposed to be helping and aiding him in his conquest, there would be so many moments where they would like try and like test him a little bit, and he would just shut that shit down immediately. Like, I remember this one scene where one of his directors was like talking back to him. And the second that Vader felt disrespected, he immediately started choking this motherfucker out. And then told bruh, be careful not to choke on your aspirations. Just see, bro.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director.
And he was trying to be funny with this. He wasn't even trying to be cold. He was trying to be funny. Like, nah, bro. This might deserve his own video, bro. I'm not even gonna get too deep into that shit. Just know Darth Vader is the king of aura. If your girl's around Vader, consider her took. I don't even think he has a dick anymore. Even before he became Vader, back when he was Anakin, he still had mad aura. Niggas was literally calling him the chosen one. Come on, like, what are we talking about? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. This is not even a question. Also, if you want to see me live every single day, subscribe to the Cloud.
You can't sleep on your stomach in here. My first week, I learned that the hard way.
Anywho, maybe that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media. Do you agree with this list? And do you think he need to make a part 2? If he do make a part 2, we is gonna end up watching it. But yeah, though. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm out on our own to that fat 107. Yeah.